Shavua Tov, everyone. I know a lot of people are excited to watch tonight's Super Bowl between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Chiefs. But I want you to know who the champions are going to be tonight. The real champions tonight are going to be the 7,500 healthcare workers who are going to be given free tickets to attend tonight's Super Bowl in an expression of deep gratitude for the past 10 months of their selfless devotion and sacrifice, where they stood on the front lines and risked their lives to save the lives of others. That is a truly inspiring moment, where as a nation we will pay homage to them and express our deep felt appreciation for what they have done. But when we watch that, we have to realize that we all have an obligation to join their efforts and help save the lives of others, especially now as many of us are the recipients of the vaccine. We have to now show our appreciation by passing it forward and helping to care for the lives of others. In Israel right now, there's a breakthrough that has been announced by Ichilov Hospital in Tel Aviv, where they discovered a new drug, the researchers, that they gave to 30 patients who are severely ill with the COVID pandemic. And as a result of this drug, 29 out of the 30 went home from the hospital within 3 to 5 days. And we can only hope and pray that this drug will actually be the cure that will be global and save the lives of millions of people. And once again, as Jews, we will show the world how we are devoted to helping and caring for the needs of others. In yesterday's Torah portion, the very last verse gave us the commandment that we're not allowed to have steps going up to the altar, but only a ramp. And the verse says, why can't you have steps? So the Kohen should not reveal his nakedness upon the altar. When you have steps, you have to spread your legs. And the Kohen who wore robes, his nakedness would be disclosed upon the altar, which would be an embarrassment to the altar. And Rashi asks, why would it be so? After all, the stones don't have any feelings, any thoughts, any sensitivity. They're not aware of the Kohen spreading his legs with his robes upon the steps of the altar. And Rashi says that this verse is coming to teach us not about the stones of the altar, but about human beings. That if we have to be so sensitive to not shame or do something that is disrespectful towards stones that don't have feelings and don't have thoughts, how much more so your fellow man who is created in the image of God? How sensitive and careful we have to be never to cause them disgrace or any shame. And this is what the Talmud says, that whoever saves one life, it's as though they saved an entire world, because every human being is in the image of God, and therefore every human being deserves honor, respect, and dignity, love, and compassion. And indeed, the very first commandment in the 10 Commandments was, I am the Lord your God. And to the left of that, the first commandment on the second column was, thou shalt not commit murder. And our rabbis say that when you realize that every human being is in the image of God, you treat every human being with the ultimate, infinite love and respect that they deserve. And this is what the healthcare providers that we're going to honor tonight at the Super Bowl teach us. And the researchers in the laboratories around the world who created the vaccine, and the researchers in Israel created this new cure that, God willing, will be the cure as it goes into from phase 1 to phase 2 trial, that we have to fight to preserve, to rescue, to serve every human being and give them the maximum capacity to live a full life. In Israel, there's a little bit of a distressing story right now that I read, where basically there is a Holocaust survivor, an elderly woman, and her life was saved because of a Gentile Dutch woman who hid her and her family for 3 years during the Holocaust. And this woman, her name is Simi Leibel, she is fighting the Israeli government because the great-granddaughter of the woman who rescued her life during the Holocaust came to study in a university in Israel, and her visa expired, and Israel asked her to go back home. And she applied for a residence application to be able to stay in Israel. And the Israeli government rejected her application and told her she must return home and leave Israel. And Simi Leibel, this elderly Holocaust survivor, is pleading with the Israeli government and saying, this girl's great-grandmother saved my life and my family's life. We as Israelis, as a Jewish nation, must show gratitude for the mutual respect that her family showed our family. Now we must reciprocate that by allowing the great-granddaughter of this heroic, righteous Gentile who saved my life and my family's life to stay in Israel. That is the respect that all human beings should have for each other. That we should realize that human life has the most infinite value. And therefore, it doesn't matter what religion, what race, or what creed we belong to. We have to show honor and love to each and every one of us. And when we do that, then each and every one of us will be a true hero and a true champion. Have a wonderful day and a Shavua Tov.